Hi, I'm Catherine Rojas, and I want to know, are you or is someone you know a Catholic in favor of the death penalty? So this kind of seems like a strange contradiction, which it is, but it's much more common than you think, which makes it a very interesting topic to me. So this summer, I interned for a criminal justice judge at the Burbank courthouse, and I constantly spoke to lawyers and judges about lots of different topics, but one that really jumped out at me was the death penalty because it was a foreign topic to me. It wasn't comfortable to hear or to discuss. Personally, I'm Catholic, and I'm not even exactly sure of my own opinion on the matter. So I wanted to know more about it, and they explained to me how it works, why we even have the death penalty, how they did or didn't see it as useful in America, the extensive process of sentencing someone to death, and the even more extensive process of carrying out that sentence. So, upon learning more about it, I immediately thought it would be an interesting SRP topic. So, at the beginning of the semester, when we started researching topics for SRP, I researched about it and specified it to America, then specified it to Catholics in America, because as I continued to research, I found it really interesting that so many Catholics in America are pro life, yet pro capital punishment. I mean, why don't all Catholics believe the same things? Where did church teachings fail? It kind of seems like an oxymoron. So I knew that Miss Juliet is a canon lawyer, and I really wanted to get her input on the matter, and she told me to read a book called Dead Man Walking, which I'm currently in the process of reading. I'm really enjoying it. It's by Sister Helen Prejean, who is a Catholic nun and who served in prison ministry, and she also worked with two death row inmates named Elmo and Robert, who were both charged with murder. She also tried to help the families of the victims. So, Sister Helen served as a spiritual advisor to the men on death row, and it's a really interesting perspective. I can't wait to finish the book. So far, I've also watched Father Greg Boyle, who's a Catholic priest and who has dedicated a lot of his time in prison ministry as well, and got his perspective of capital punishment, which is against death penalty, but also empathizes with the people on death row. He also mentioned that he frequently testifies in court for death sentencing cases, which I find really interesting. I want to learn more about that. I also found some sources for showing that some Catholics contradict themselves in being pro life and pro capital punishment, some of which use scripture. So, for example, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth from the book of Exodus, and some reasoning even uses a section of the Catechism of the Catholic Church to explain the contradiction. So, for example, section 2267. For my next Chalk Talk, I want to share data from studies that show the inconsistency of Catholics for the death penalty, yet pro life. And I want to be able to answer the questions: what is the history of the death penalty in America in relation to Catholicism? In what specific ways has the Church's hierarchy failed in their advocating for Catholics to be pro life and against capital punishment? I also want to solidify and specify my research question right now, which is, how do some members of the Catholic Church contradict themselves in believing that the human life is of irreplaceable value, yet support capital punishment? Thank you.